All right. Cheers. Waiting until some people come in now. It says 17 people. All right. And people are starting to chat. Okay. So I think we're off and running. I think people can see me. I think people can hear me. If you can't hear me, Ned or Michael, leave me a chat and say, hey, your lips are moving, but nothing's coming out. David is here. Bruce is here. Hey, Jason. Hey, Bruce. You're good, Anthony says. Good. Audio is good. Good. Janelle is here. Ton Tukton is here. Sublime is here. Andy is here, who's a channel member. Thank you, Andy, for being a channel member. Yakov is here. Hello from Israel. Wow. Okay. Hello from Israel. Hello back. Carol is here. Hello from Ohio, Brooklyn, New York. Mara is here. Mara is a longtime channel member and friend of the channel. Hello, Mara. Sushi Maker, Buffalo, New York. You guys know I don't eat sushi, so, but I'm sure I could come and eat other things with you. Francis is here, who I believe I sent a prize to recently, so a recent prize winner. Scott, David, yeah, Francis is in Germany. Janelle, howdy from Bill. Konbanwa from BN. Konbanwa, back to you. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu. Bruce is here. Nicholas, hey, if Onosato is not a Yokozuna soon, I will eat Chiyomaru's mawashi. Please, nah, be careful. Let's say he slips and falls on the pavement tomorrow. That'd be a lot of mawashi to eat. Greetings from New England. Sorry. Greetings from, I would assume, Northwest England, Janelle says. All right. Hello from Toronto, Canada, Northern California. Jordan, you're up early. It's about 7:30 a.m. in CA. We had a guy from Hawaii last time I did this, and it was like, I don't know, 4:30, 5:30 in the morning in Hawaii when you came on. Green Bay, Wisconsin. Hello, Bruce. Albuquerque, Western NC, North Carolina. Let's hope. Broseph, Behemoth, Richmond, Virginia, Singapore, Jalax. All right. So Singapore, you're probably a little earlier than me, right? You're maybe like it's 10:30 p.m. for you or so. My students are going to Singapore in about a month. There is a Hawaii person who commented, I'm here from Georgia, USA. Not Tochinoson's Georgia, but Georgia, United States. Oh, Scott is here. Okay, he's here again. Scott, dedication, my man. All right. Ibaraki, Anthony's here in Japan with me. All right. So we had some really bad weather in a part of Japan this past weekend called Ishikawa. And that's actually where Onosato is from. And so they mentioned that in his championship interview. There was a typhoon, and we were thinking it was kind of went up, and it hit Korea, and it was coming back, and we thought it might hit Shimane-ken, Totori-ken, which is where my students were headed for this speech contest today that I couldn't go. But they did well, by the way. And it kind of kept going up the coast of Honshu, and it made landfall in Ishikawa, and it really, really brought down some rain. And there's always consequences when this bad weather happens. Japan is pretty well set for earthquakes and certain things, but rain, there's mudslides and just old people that can't get out of the way sometimes, and flooding and things like that. Never good. But the sumo went on, and I think I can share my screen and we can do a typical rundown. I did bring over my cards. I thought I would quiz you guys in a little bit here. I'll pull out some of the cards see if I can ask you who some of these people are, maybe. I'll have to get a little bit more creative, because if I just hold this guy up, here, let me grab a sticker here. Oh, you guys, this is... And I go, hey, who's this? I think that's a little too easy. Well, first of all, unlike any of the other wrestlers in this pack of cards, he's wearing a rope that only a Yokozuna can wear. So, yeah, that's Tyano Fuji. So I'll have to ask like questions from his stats or something, maybe, and we'll see if we can do something with that stack there a little later on. All right. Headed to bed because it's 11:35 over here in Korea. Just wanted to stop by and say thanks for all you do, Jason. Hey, thanks, Steven. I appreciate that, man. Good night in Korea. I know how to say hello in Korean, and that's about it. And it's funny because I've watched a few K-dramas now on Netflix. There's this one actress I really like, and I've watched a few of hers. And yeah, I still haven't picked up enough of the language though yet. Thank you for what you do. I really enjoy your inputs and knowledge on sumo. Nicholas says, well, thank you, Nicholas. I appreciate that. Sean, yes, indeed, it was Tyano Fuji. Oh, thank you, Alex, for coming by. Yeah, I made it. I think I only missed one night out of maybe 2 out of 15 for the Sumo Summary show, so I was pretty consistent. Given all that was happening off screen, I feel like I did pretty good. Good afternoon from Catland. All right, Sumo Kittens. So let's get into it. So hopefully, I haven't been into sumo as much since Hakuho retired, but nice to see Onosato reach Ozeki. Yeah, Family Guy, I agree. It is good to see an up-and-comer. We're going to talk a lot about Onosato today. And like I said, if you're a Patreon member and you've watched the videos, and you heard me say in the videos that for the wrap-up video, which will come out in about next Saturday or Sunday, the 28th or the 29th, I hope to compile some stats on all the records he set, and the fastest to do this and the quickest to do that, and the youngest to do this. And although he's not, you got to remember, the thing you have to remember about Onosato is he went to college, right? He went to university, and he came in Makshita in the through that college entry program. So he's not quite as young as some of the other guys who just sort of did sumo since they were a teenager, because like Asashoru, Hakuho, Taiho, a bunch of our really huge famous Yokozuna became Yokozuna. Not became Ozeki, but became Yokozuna when they were like 21, 22 years old. So that's astonishing to think about how young they were when they attained the highest rank in their sport. But we'll look at him and stuff like that. But he's not quite that young, but he's still obviously definitely kind of the new generation, right? All right. Thanks for the sumo contest. Went to the Basho Friday, Saturday. Oh, Sean, you went and watched. Great. Massive sumo fan. So much fun to watch. Yeah, we should look at the standings. I have one winner, so that's great. And then a bunch of second place people. So I'll talk about that in the wrap up. And I should have a bunch of goods. I just ordered a ton of goods, like almost Ichiman, which is, I used to say it was $100, but nowadays about $75 worth of towels and all kinds of souvenir stuff. And I got a bunch of Onosato stuff to give away to the people that won the contest. Kirishima I thought was great. Tyanger Adam. I think he is kind of quietly positioning himself to get back to Ozeki. And with 12 wins this tournament, if you add that to the 8, did he get 12 or did he get 11? We'll look in a moment. He, if he got 12, and I think he did, I think he won today. Oh my gosh, it was only like 5 hours ago. That would be 20 for 2 Basho at Sekewake. So if he did really well in November and got 13-2 or 14-1, then yeah, he would become an Ozeki again. So he would have the numbers. Yeah. And even if not, even if you can just get 10 or 11 in and get double digits again in November, you add that to this 12, let's say he gets 11 and 12 is 23, and then he only has to get 10 in January and he's an Ozeki again. So he's setting himself up well as long as he has a good November, right? What's up, Albert? You had to hunt and go into other platforms to see the live streams. Yeah, I guess they're really hunting. They're really cracking down on people. There's certain, streams here on YouTube that I see pop up that use the Abema feed. Alex, I could say you could pay $1 and go over to Patreon and watch my feed. But I understand some of you want to watch everything, and you want to be totally in and on it. I get that. But there you go. Okay, so Adam is saying Kirishima went 12-3. Yeah, Albert Strange Dog. I think Aoyama will retire. I don't think he wants to go down to the 3rd tier at this point. You kind of lose your privileges, you lose your salary. You only have to fight 7 days to bounce back up. So if he really feels like he has it in him, maybe he'll try it once, but there's a good chance we'll be hearing about him retiring. Do you think Takano Fuji won enough to get back to Makuuchi? Francis asked. That's a really good question. So anyway, let me share. So I know I'm not gonna be able to see your comments for a minute or two, but let me get going on that. Let's see if I. Okay. All right. So you can see. Okay, good. So I can still see your comments. So they've already got him up there, the poster boy for the November tournament at the Fukuoka Kokusai Center. And like I said, I had a really nice invitation from a viewer to join him on day 14 and go and see Sumo. He bought tickets and bought, double seat tickets, and he has no one to sit with on the 14th. And so he asked me if I wanted to, and I hadn't planned on going, but it's kind of too good to pass up. I think I should be fine at school. I went ahead and booked a hotel room, which were already getting crazy expensive. And I found one that was decent and nearby and reasonable. And then it's just my bullet train ticket to get down there and, some food and expenses, but it'll be good. It'll be good to restock on some goods, and I love going. It'll be nice to hang out with a fan of the channel, and yeah. So I think I am going to be able to take advantage of that and go and see some sumo in November. So that's pretty awesome. Thoughts on Wakataka Kage? He was one of my fave outside. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely stamped his return now. I think one more tournament and he should be back up in Sanyaku. Thank you for the thumbs up or the like or whatever that little heart thing was. I appreciate it. Yeah, he's always been a strong Rikishi, and he, just unfortunate that he had to go down so many, divisions before he could come back up. But like Tochinoshin, like Tyano Fuji, he's risen back up now, and I think he'll be a force to be reckoned with. Kind of like what we were hoping Asanoyama would do, right? And that just went tragically the other way. So, okay. Alex says he doesn't like Patreon and won't give them his money. Hey, fair enough, man. Fair enough. So yeah, I hope there's other ways you can watch. I even missed a match in Juryo today, and it was Hansoku. It was like a violation win, and I wanted to go check it out. It was the Asakoru match because it came on right before I turned on my TV because everything happened so much earlier on Senshuraku. So I need to go somewhere, and hopefully Nato or somebody is somewhere, and I can see all the Juryo matches like that because even I miss stuff. Shishi will be in Makuuchi in November. Yeah, and we've got another guy coming up from Ukraine, Aonishki, I think is how you say his name. He got a 6-1 in Upper Makushita, so he should be up in Juryo. And so, yeah, quite a few guys from that part of the world making their stamp. We got a guy from Kazakhstan, right, Kim Bozan, and so it's interesting there. It's interesting too that Onosato is trained and really the only major wrestler in the stable now created by the former Kiseno Sato, who of course, was a longtime Ozeki himself before he became Yokozuna for only a short time. But what a great validation of his training and his stable to be the one shepherding Onosato through his rise to prominence. So yeah, okay. Everybody's saying definitely a Hansoku. Yeah, Hakuoho was a little bit of a disappointment, but there's probably something still going on. He's really heavily taped up, and he might not be 100%. So, oh, that's right. Shirokuma, Roberto is saying, is the one other wrestler, I believe, that's in Nishonoseki, which is Kiseno Sato's stable. I forget his Oyakata name, his coach name, but he's turning out to be. He was sitting ringside. They were showing it on NHK for a minute, all in his judge's robes, and he was just beaming. He was smiling at somebody. The camera wasn't really picking it up, but he was just really enjoying the day. And I know Onosato's father was in the audience today, and his family was there. And I wish he'd won his match. But he still obviously got up and was, he was able to be there when he gets presented all the trophies and everything like that. So, yeah, I'm sure he's very, very happy. Okay, so let's go over here and have a look. So, Onosato, Takanashi Fuji, and then you got the other winners. Istigahama had another winner down here in Kawazoe. And then the Shikun Show, the Outstanding Performance Award went to Wakatake Kage. Oh, I should double check and make sure you're seeing something. You are good. Okay. Of course, Kanto Show to Onosato. No surprise there. Another Kanto Show to Nishikigi. And the Gino Show Technique Prize to Onosato. So he's 24 years old, right? He was born in June. There he's from Ishikawa, Ken. And so he's a little older than some of the guys who have been some of the great Yokozuna of recent years. But he's still a young guy at 24, absolutely. And the thing he did, which was pointed out to me in the broadcast today, which is interesting, if we go down here, since his ascendancy from Juryo into Maegashira and the top Makuuchi, he won the Kanto Show. He won double prizes here. He won the championship and the Gino Show. He won the Shikun Show. And now he's won two prizes again, the Kanto Show and the Gino Show and the championship. So he's on some list where, from his debut in the top division, his first 5 Basho in a row, he's won a special prize. He's never had a losing record. He was going along pretty well. Never had below 10 wins, but he had that 9-6 tournament. But still, the accolades and the records he's setting, speed to his first U show, speed to Ozeki. I think he's now the fastest Rikishi to go from his debut in the top division to becoming an Ozeki. What did it take him? 5-6 tournaments, something like that. So it's just crazy how much this guy. And it's funny because I collect these cards, right? And in this set, this time, there's a kind of like a limited one. There's only 25 of them made, kind of sparkly card. It's called a treasure card with Onosato on it. And I really wanted one, and I was trying to get one, and there was a couple of some of the other ones that were offered right when the boxes came out. They were like $200-$300 for one card, and I thought, And but I know now that everybody that has that card, if you have one of those cards, you've ripped open the pack and you've gotten it, or you've traded for it, you want it. You're not going to sell it. So the only thing is if there's one or two out there that haven't been opened yet, maybe in unopened packs. But yeah, his cards are going to just explode as people prepare for him to obviously, like a lot of you are thinking, he'll be Yokozuna next year. So yeah. All right. Let me get caught up on comments a little bit before I share again. This is 2 of the last 3 for Onosato, right? I can't remember when exactly his first was, Scott. Oh, I think Scott's talking. You're talking about when was his first U show? It was back in May. So yeah, he didn't win in July, but then he's won in September, and that's gotten him to Ozeki. And a lot of people are asking, if he wins in November, does he become Yokozuna? Because that's 2 back-to-back Yusho. No, because you have to be an Ozeki when you get those Yusho wins. So if he wins in November, that's 1, and then he'd have to win in January as well. And then he could be Yokozuna as early as March of next year. So that would be the earliest possible. And if he did that, I mean, geez Louise. We want to see him fight Tyano Fuji. We want to see him, we want to see him have to face Hoshoru and Kotozakura when they're on a little bit better trajectory than they were this tournament when he faced them. He only lost really. I don't really count the loss to Abi today. I hate Abi. I think he's a wiener. I'm sorry if you like Abi. I just don't. But he really only lost to Wakatake Kage, and that was a good match. If you haven't seen that match, go seek it out. So, yeah, okay. First was May. You're talking. You guys are answering each other's questions. Good. Yeah, Kirishima. And the thing is now that he's an Ozeki, Onosato, he won't get prizes anymore, right? You don't get special prizes when you're an Ozeki. So, Scott agrees with me. Abi is a weasel. Yeah, I don't know why they removed that entrance qualification quack for the guys that go to college. I think that was a good deal. If you won amateur college level, Yokozuna sumo, I think why not enter and skip the bottom rungs. Onosato certainly would have just eased through those bottom divisions, and it just would have taken him longer. Yeah, I mean, Kirishima will get his reward for 12 wins this tournament if he can do it again in November and therefore find himself back at Ozeki. That's what he wants. So what does Onosato have to do to be a Yokozuna, Sean? So I think I just went over it. He has to win 2 back-to-back Yusho, or the equivalent. If he won the November Yusho and then in January was 14-1, and for some reason that was the Yusho where Kotozakura went 15-0 and had a Zensho Yusho, that would be enough. If you're runner-up with a really good score and you've done really good sumo, you don't necessarily have to win the Yusho, but you have to have 2 really good tournaments back to back, and one of them you need to win. So yeah. Yeah, that's true too. Janelle is saying that she thinks he just has to win 2 outright, because he's so young and inexperienced at this point. They would just want that stamp of, okay, you can't deny it. He won 2 back to back. He is a Yokozuna. All right. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, so if he was Alex is asking about Tyano Fuji. So if he won a Yusho as an Ozeki and then was runner-up in the next one, that would be enough. And that's how Onosato won too, I think, right? Or got promoted. Nomad is in the house. Hey, Nomad, thanks for the nice compliment. Yeah, I think he's just Abi is just very one-dimensional, and he just pulls shenanigans too often for my taste. But you know, he's a big guy. He has great reach. He's going to always do well. But yeah, I'm just not a fan. Kirishima unfortunately went 8-7 in the prior Basho, so that's why his current 12, if you add it to 8, he was a Sekewake then, though, so 12 plus 8 is 20, and you need 33 over 3, so he would have to go 13-2 in November to get promoted. So, yeah. All right. There's only been one Yokozuna who got promoted without ever winning a Yusho. Yeah, there is a guy back in history who did that, I think. That's right. Michael's asking, how often do 15-0 tournaments happen? Not very often. We got used to them in the Hakuho era because he did it way more than any other wrestler has ever done it. I mean, obviously, he's on the top of that leaderboard. I think he did it 15 times. 15 of his 45 championships were Zensho Yusho, but it's pretty rare. And we've seen that now that he's gone. I think Tyano Fuji's done it once. And it doesn't happen very often. It happens down in Jurio every now and then, but yeah, up in the top division, not that often. If a Gyoji's decision is overturned a few times, does he get demoted? That's a good question. I'm not sure. Possibly. Yeah. I guess it depends how egregious it is and maybe how often it's happening. Yeah. For someone trying to familiarize themselves with sumo, can you name 3 sumo wrestlers to watch out for that would be equivalent to, say, LeBron James? I can't tell anyone name-wise. Well, I don't know much about basketball, so I know who LeBron James is. But are you saying you want somebody that's like a superstar? I mean, I think here. Let me go back to where I was sharing, and we'll go to matches and results here. So let's go all the way down to the bottom. I mean, definitely, I think Hoshoru and Kotozakura have potential. They're both well-equipped Ozeki. Now, some of you might argue, will they ever be Yokozuna? I would say yes for both of them. They both could be. Whereas I think Onosato will be. Abi never will be. Kirishima, certainly we thought, at the beginning of the year, he was setting himself up for a rope run, and then it all fell apart. So it just, you never know. Daisho will never be a Yokozuna. I mean, you can look at certain guys and go, no, a lot of these names, you go, okay, none of these guys will ever be Yokozuna. Oho, I think, has potential. I think he has potential to be an Ozeki one day. More than that, it's hard to say. Wakamoto Haru is the same. I think he has grit and determination. He's got skills. He could be an Ozeki one day. His brother, Wakataka Kage, is one of the few, I would say, maybe remember his name. He's definitely coming up, and if things align, I think he could one day attain the highest rank in the sport. And then, you look through the rest of the pack and you're like, nah, the rest of these guys are just going to be, Maegashira wrestlers most of their career. And then, you've got the one big guy you've got coming up is not even in the top division right now. And that is down here in Jurio, you've got Takanashi Fuji. He absolutely could be a Yokozuna one day. And, he's young-ish at he's 25, and he's got the body and all the skills, and he's already won a Makuuchi title. He's now got a couple Jurio titles because he won the Jurio Yusho today. or yesterday he clinched it. So there's somebody else that could absolutely be a Yokozuna one day. So he's a name to remember. If you just watch the guys in this one stable called Isagahama Stable. I mean, they have so much talent in this stable. With Takeru Fuji and Hakuoho, and then they've got guys like Midori Fuji and Atami Fuji. You'd never be Yokozuna, but they're really fun to watch. They've got the current Yokozuna. So what just packed. Now it'll be interesting to see if Hakuho, is able to break off and go form his own stable again because of what happened where they combined him with Isagahama. But still, what a great group of wrestlers they've got there. And then, when you look at that compare, who they get to wrestle against every day for practice and everything versus Onosato here, who I just clicked on, but my computer is not going. Come on, computer. Is it trying to get there? I'll click again. Nope, saying sorry. You don't get to do that. Okay, we'll try one more time. Nope, doesn't like it. All right. Wait. I'll try back again in a minute. But I was just going to show you Onosato. He's only got Shirokuma and then, a bunch of low-ranked, lower division wrestlers in his stable to spar with on a daily basis and things like that. So that I think the stable, like Wakamoto Haru and Wakatake Kage are in the same stable, obviously, and they have each other to train against, and that can make a big difference, right? So, greetings from Romania. Oh, hello. We're talking about a Mono-E. Okay. Yeah, Aonishiki, I think, is going to be one to keep an eye on. He's coming up from the Ukraine. Some people are saying Hoshoru doesn't quite have what it takes maybe to be a Yokozuna. You can't trip and hanky your way to Yokozuna. Yeah. So they're talking. Alex is talking about the one guy who made it to Yokozuna without ever actually winning a Yusho. Trucker Mark is here. He's a channel member. Thank you, Trucker. Yeah, I mean, you easily ignored is pointing out Tamawashi. I mean, to do what he's done and never miss a day of work and show up for every Basho and never have injured himself, to be able to keep himself that physically sound is pretty amazing in a as easily ignored points out, in a contact sport where you're bashing into other guys for a living. It's it'd be one thing if it was tennis or something, maybe, but yeah, when you're crashing into guys for 15 days in a row 6 times a year, plus all the regional tours and everything else, it's pretty amazing. Tamawashi has never missed a day like that. Are there any Canadian sumo competitors? There are foreigners, of course. We haven't had any Americans in a while. There was a guy from Canada. God, what was his name? Well, I'm not going to remember. But this was like 6 years ago. He was a big, tall, blonde guy, Brock or something. Brock Henderson, something like that. Maybe he was an American. He was either American or Canadian. And he lasted about a year. The coming over here, if you grew up in America, especially, to go into the stable culture, to go into the culture of sumo, especially if you don't speak Japanese very well, it's really hard. If you've watched that show Sanctuary on Netflix, I'm not saying it's that crazy, but it's not an easy adjustment. And you are beholden to everybody at your stable when you're a lower ranked wrestler, to do the laundry, to clean the place, to fetch things, to do the cooking, to do the shopping. You're not allowed to drive. You're not allowed to go out a lot of the times. And you're training all the time. It's a full year. There's no season for sumo. It's every day of your life, and I think it's just really really hard. And that's why a lot of the guys who come over from other foreign countries, maybe their desire to have a better life and to succeed here in Japan and bring themselves attain a level of success that they maybe couldn't in Mongolia or wherever it might be, is a huge motivating factor that maybe somebody from, say, the United States wouldn't necessarily have. So yeah, it's very interesting. Jose, good morning to you, sir. Ohio gozaimasu. It is now after midnight, so I guess I can say that here. Yeah, there's a WWF wrestler, they say, who was from Canada and tried sumo for a little while and never really made it that far up. Have I ever tried training? I'm 55, Bushido Baker, so I am definitely way past my sumo prime. But yeah, I definitely have the weight for it. But no, I've never really tried it. I wouldn't even want to wear a mawashi in public. That would be embarrassing for me. Um, what was that? There was a sumo show on, I think it was Netflix, but it was about like college sumo, and there was a girl. God, what was it called? Sumo Do, I think it was called. And just the embarrassment the guys have when they have to first like put on the mawashi. And these are really skinny guys who are trying to do sumo. It's really funny. Yeah, I mean, we used to obviously have quite a few Americans via Hawaii and Samoa who got into sumo. I'm surprised we haven't had anybody like that in the past, say, 15, 20 years, but they just haven't. Hoko Fuji, yeah, man, what a story he was. Coming back after having to sit out a few days and getting wins on day 14 and 15 to get his Kachikoshi. That was great. I put up his match on the Patreon page today. But yeah, he's always fun to watch, Hoko Fuji. And then I'll pick him for my team thinking, oh yeah, Hoko Fuji, man. And then he'll have like a 5 and 10 tournament or something. It's like I sometimes jinx the guys, I feel like, by putting them on my contest team. Yeah, Abi was one of the guys who was doing some stupid stuff on social media. They'll change that rule, hopefully. The big rule, I think I talked about it before, that I hope they change now that all the COVID and stuff is passed, is I want them to have a second guy in the booth and bring back the play-by-play, the color commentator on the NHK, bring back John Gunning and some of the guys that would come in and sit with Hiro or Murray, because they really need it. I just talk for little 5-minute snippets on my videos, and you start to say the same things over and over, and it must be really hard to do 2 hours by yourself in a booth like that. So sumo do, sumo don't. Thank you, Anthony. Yes, that was the name of the program. That was a really fun show. I like that. Yeah, a lot of guys like that are sumo size, Tauntaun is pointing out, probably would go to the NFL instead of going into sumo, and you're probably right. And then of course, the other big story we have to talk about, the 111 of you that are here, thank you for coming, is Takanashi hanging it up. So a little unexpected. Obviously, he started the tournament, clearly wasn't gonna do what he needed to do, and pulled out and then announced his retirement. I got a little bit of that footage up on the channel. I missed recording. I saw it, but I missed recording his like press conference, but they hadn't changed to English language play-by-play yet, so it would have all been in Japanese, which doesn't help most of you. And yeah, it's just weird because he became an Ozeki at such a young age, and he was Ozeki for what, 5 years, 6 years, and now he's only 28. It just seems so young. He's one of the youngest guys to retire in recent sumo. Usually you wait until you're in your 30s. And then we have guys, like how old is Ayama? Let's go back over and I'll see if I can share again. Oh, okay. What happened? Aha. Oh, maybe I can do both now. You guys don't even know what I'm doing, but I'm moving things around. Okay, share. Are you gonna let me do this? Share. Okay. You can see your comments now. Okay. So we got to go to Jurio because we were talking about him retiring, right? So Aoyama, 86. So I'm terrible at this. I'm sorry. 96, 06, 16. So yeah. So he's 38. And made his debut. Let's see, when did he make his debut? Yeah, so he made his Jurio debut in 2011, made his debut in sumo in 2009. So he's been doing sumo for 15 years. And, that to me seems like, okay, maybe now you can call it a career and hang it up. He's a Bulgarian. I don't know if he has citizenship and what his plans are post sumo. But yeah, but for Takanashi, we can go over and have a look at him real quick. All right, where is he? Takanashi, there he is. So, 20, yeah, he just turned 28 in August of this year, and bunch of titles, 4 top division titles, a title in almost every other division, a lot of spirit prizes. Made his debut in 2014, and he was promoted to Ozeki in 2019. So, still 10 years of sumo. And yep, and there it is. They've already added it to the top, retired, but he is going to he has elder stock. He is going to be a coach, stay in sumo, etc. So there you go. Yeah. I think some guys, there's other guys who I've watched. Chio Taikai is one, and Ozeki Kaio, and Ozeki from when I was first watching sumo in the 2000s, like 2005, 6, 7. And when they retired, as soon as they were going to have to drop down to Sekewake, they retired. Some of the guys just take that as the sign. Other guys, try to bounce back. And then, we have a bunch of former Ozeki who were probably too young to retire, right? Shodai, Mitakeumi, Takayasu, Tochinoshin did it for a while, who go down into the rank and file and just keep fighting. And so, if they're not done, they're not done. But, 38, I think, for Aoyama is, I think, a good age to say, okay. Elder stock, Sean, just means that you have the ability to open your own Heya, your own stable. They limit the total number of stables that there can be. So, but when you get to a certain age, like when Hakuho becomes 65, he has to retire, and somebody will take over his stable, etc. So Isagahama, I don't know how old he is, but he might be getting near that age, etc. Okay. So Takakeisho might be marrying into a stable. That could be happening too. Yeah, and I think Janelle is right. I mean, Takakeisho had limited. He wasn't that tall. He had he had things that he did really well, pushing and thrusting and stuff, but he wasn't very good on the mawashi. and he was able to wrestle at the second highest rank and win Yusho, etc. So you know we all love Takayasu, but he's never won a Yusho. You look at some of these other guys. Takayumi came up, became an Ozeki, and was out within a year. So he definitely has some accomplishments to be proud of. There's no doubt about it. Kaio, I think, had 5 in his career. Ronar is asking how many Yusho he had. Yeah, I think he had 5. He won right as I was getting into sumo was like his last win, and then Asashoru went on a tear. And I think it was 2006. Asashoru won every single Yusho that year, 6 in a row, plus either the November or the January tournament before or after. So 7 total in a row, but all the Yusho in a calendar year, which nobody else has ever done. Even Hakuho never won every single Basho in a calendar year, but he would have if there was that one year where they didn't have a Basho because of the Gaucho. No, what was it? The Yaucho scandal, the betting scandal, and they canceled, and it just coincided with the tsunami that hit in March of 2011, and he was on like a tear, and I think he won like everyone around that, but technically he never won every single one in a year. Yeah, yeah, he just when they talk about Takeda Fuji, for instance, or even Onosato, the sumo, Yokozuna body, you got to have a certain amount of tallness, width, girth, all that kind of stuff. You don't want to be too big. A guy like Ichinojo, you can be really huge, but that doesn't mean you're necessarily going to be that successful because then you limit your mobility and other things. So, yeah. Oh, okay. CK is telling us about Taka is he has a dohyo in his house. Wow. Yeah, I think he'll be remembered as a solid Ozeki. And that's part of too is maybe you want your legacy to be when people think of me, they think of my days as an Ozeki because that's the last 5 years. And they don't think about, oh, that year I spent trying to, get back to Ozeki or toiling away in the mid Maigashira. He wants people's memories to be of him at the second highest rank. So there you go. Code is making the bold prediction that Enho will never be Yokozuna. But we want Enho to come back up to Jurio. He's so entertaining to watch. It's kind of like the guy that's down there now that I'm enjoying, Asakoryu. He has that kind of short, stocky Ishiura, Terutsuyoshi style body, and it's just great to see when they're sort of small and compact, and they have a lot of technique and fastness, and they can take on these really big guys and still win. So it's just fun to watch. Possible to have annual membership to your Patreon instead of I can't read what's in the corner there, the $1-2 per month payment. Iceman, that's interesting. That I would think would be part of the Patreon, what do I want to say, like interface. Like I would think there'd be an ability to go on and sign up, instead of paying $1 a month out of whatever account you give them, you pay $12 and you're good for a year. But yeah, that would all be through Patreon. I don't really have control over that. So, yeah, hopefully maybe they offer that, you can pay $12 and you don't have to worry about it for a year. What do you think is Ura's ceiling? Yeah, Ura will never be an Ozeki. I think he'll be Komusubi again one day. I don't know that he'll ever be a Sekewake, but he's the crowd love him, and he will always do well, and he's always going to be able to maybe have some fun matches, but yeah, I don't think he'll ever win a Yusho. I don't, he'll definitely never be an Ozeki, but yeah, you know. Okay, anything else I need to share while I'm over here? So tournament champions, we went over that. Tournament records. Oh, this is just everybody. We can look at Tyano Fuji. Yeah, so both Ozeki disappointing, Onosato amazing, Abi 5 and 10. So he's going to go way down. We'll talk about in the wrap-up show, all the promotions and demotions. We got our retirement, Kirishima, amazing at 12 and 3. Runner-up with Wakataka Kage. Hiraumi's a little disappointing, right? He had a pretty strong tournament. Got to Komusubi, and I thought he would get his Kachikoshi, but just, this run of 4 losses in a row here in the second week, that just did him in. Daisho, though, eking it out, getting to 8 and 7. Tobizaru and Takanosho's collapse was pretty outstanding. Considering the 12 and 3 he did in July, and then 4 and 11, the wheels just came off. So Oho, like I said, so those should be your Komusubi taking over, because Daisho should go up to Sekewake, Hiraumi will go down, and I think your two Komusubi will be Oho and Wakamoto Haru. There is a tiny chance that some people are saying maybe Wakataka Kage will leapfrog, but I don't think so. Yeah, Tame Fuji disappointing. He got a couple wins at the very end here, but couldn't get to Kachikoshi. Look at that string of 6 wins at the end for Wakamoto Haru. He got the free win when Takakeisho pulled out. Shodai, he showed up. We didn't have sleepy Shodai. We had active Shodai. Ura did well. Chiranaumi, nice double-digit wins. Wakataka Kage 12 and 3. I can't think that they're going to leapfrog him at M7 though, above his brother. With what did he end up? 10 and 4, 11 and 4. Yeah, I'm an 11 and 4. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. Endo started really well. Look at all these wins, and then 3 in a row loss here and 2 losses on the final 2 days. It's disappointing. Oshoma did good. Tamawashi just couldn't quite get the Kachikoshi. Nishikigi obviously getting a special prize, got an 11 and 4. Hoko Fuji, we talked about, really fun. I've had Onokatsu on my team. I thought he might do a little bit better, but very much up and down, as you can see. But ended with 3 wins in a row, so that's got to be good. And he'll stay in the top division at M14 with the 7 and 8. Takayasu doing well. And Nishiki Fuji actually earning his spot, not having a losing record and just being allowed to stay, but actually got a Kachikoshi at M17. Shirokuma will obviously be demoted. Kitsunawaka will be demoted. All right. I think that's about it. So yeah, it was a good Basho overall. I'm looking forward to November. Yeah, Takanosho, I think, killed a lot of people's contest hopes. Ichinojo just walked in. Hi, Ichinojo. Janelle's dog. That's a great name for a dog. Big thank you to the coverage. Thanks, Scott. Appreciate it. I think, JS, yeah, I think you do. You can become a one-dimensional Rikishi, and the more you fight the guys around you, the more they're going to get used to your style, and it's harder to maybe win without some variation, which is why the Sumo Association give out a Ginosho, a technique prize. They want to encourage wrestlers to try to use a variety of technique and not always just win by, Yorikiri or Oshidashi or whatever it might be. So, yeah. Oh, okay. So Iceman is saying I can set that. All right, Iceman, I'll look into that. Thank you for that feedback. I will see if an annual plan is something I can set up. I'm happy to do that. The Winnie Pooh of Sumo, yeah. Well, I think Trucker Mark, the Winnie Pooh of Sumo, has now sort of been taken over by Shirokuma. He seems to be the one all the girls just think is so super cute. He's just got this face, So Uda might have surrendered that a little bit, but or maybe they can have a Winnie the Pooh off. Jean Michael, they spent a lot of time talking about the retirement of the Gyoji, the Tate Gyoji today, and when he was walking off the dohyo, the crowd was very nice. They stayed. Well, they stayed anyway to watch the trophy presentation, but everybody kind of stayed in their seats, and they did the bow twirling, and then he was walking off, and everybody kind of gave him a really big round of applause, and a lot of people were holding up signs, and then some people came and gave him flowers, and he was smiling as he walked backstage, and Hakuho happened to be there and congratulated him, and then he walked back into the press room and stuff. So yeah, there'll be some, I'm sure, articles. If you follow me on Twitter, I often retweet when they have an article in Japanese and then it gets translated, where he talks about his final day. All right, oops. I don't want to miss anything here. Yeah, Wakuta Kage did well. Shodai. Is there an actual rule book to look over? There was an app I have on my phone, which I don't know where my phone is, which has all the Kimarite in it, and you can look up the list of Kimarite on like Wikipedia. Rules are pretty simple, just don't touch the clay with anything other than the bottom of your feet. Yeah, I mean, you can't grab the top knot. You can't punch with a closed fist. There are a few rules, I guess, but they're not that hard. They're not that many. Yeah, I mean, Shodai, he'll be content. Maybe you're right. Just to well, and I said that about Abi today. He didn't pull out of the tournament even though he had a terrible record, and he showed up today and he fought Onosato. And I figured, maybe he's just doing this, getting this win in this style because he knows he's going to get that huge stack of white envelopes, of Kensho money, of sponsor money, by winning that match. So why not pull a Henka? And it wasn't quite a Henka, but you know what I mean. To win against Onosato today, because that's a big payday. That's a big bonus. There's a lot of money in those envelopes. Oh, that's interesting. Sublime asks, would you rather be an Ozeki and never win a Yusho like Takayasu, or a Sekewake and win a Yusho like Abi, and that's the highest you go? I'd probably rather be a Sekewake and win a Yusho. I think winning a Yusho must be pretty amazing, and you get all kinds of stuff and the parties, and you get your name in a record book that not a lot of guys get their name in, and I think, yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I think I'd want to win a Yusho, but yeah. Do mid-level wrestlers make a living wage? Yeah, yeah. It's on Wikipedia. You can go over there. I think there is some little chart of about what the base salary is. And the longer you do it, the more bonuses you get, and things like Kimboshi, gold stars, and other things. And you get money for, doing well in a tournament, and you get money when you beat guys in the final match of the day. And, there's all kinds of other ways to make money. So yeah, if you're in the top two divisions, you're doing pretty well. you're not making, NBA or baseball, Major League Baseball or NFL money, but you're doing okay. And then obviously if you're, a Yokozuna, you're doing pretty well. Yeah, you can't kick to the torso. Kick to the head? Ooh, yeah, I think that would be disallowed. I mean, you're talking about like an MMA, like if a guy came out and did like a roundhouse kick, like in karate or something. Yeah, no, I don't think that's allowed. um, yeah, he got injured. Kaode Shirokuma, he injured, I think, his big toe or something. In yeah, there you go. After he fought Roga, what was that, on day 12? And he had to pull out on day 13. So that was unfortunate. He wasn't on his way to a Kachikoshi anyway. So he'll go back down to Jurio. But yeah, he had to pull out the final couple days. Yeah, there weren't any big leg sweep moments. Certainly Hoshoru uses a lot of leg stuff in his sumo. So yeah, I think Ronar, we were talking about that earlier. I think this two Sekewake will be Daisho and Kirishima. We'll have three Ozeki, and the two Komusubi will probably be Wakamoto Haru and Oho. That's my prediction. All right. Oops. Am I good? Let me stop share. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, you're not allowed to grab the groin. No poking in the eyes, although guys do get poked. I think Oho, I don't think it was a poke. I think he got, when they clash, and I think Abi's head like hit him right here in this, part of your face, and that was what gave him that black eye. But they do get some endorsement deals, especially if you're good looking, like Enho and Endo, and some of those guys have gotten deals, sponsoring, beer or other things. They'll be in print ads and on commercials. Um, Tyano Fuji is in a commercial that I saw the other day for, I can't remember what the service was. But yeah, every now and then Hakuho did brand deals in his time, and he endorsed a line of Honda cars, a watch company. I can't remember if it was it's a famous watch. It's not Rolex or whatever, but there was a famous watch. I mean, Hakuho was so, I mean, he was on McDonald's ads and things like that. So yeah, I mean, they do get those kind of opportunities to sponsor things and get those kind of endorsements. There's not a lot of clothing, or there's no tennis shoe. There's no Air Jordans for sumo guys and stuff like that. But and then I don't know if they get a little cut of all the towels that get sold with their name on them and stuff like that. I don't know the behind the scenes of all that. So maybe they do. I don't know. Okay. All right. So that'll be it for this bus show. Thank you so much. I can't really think of any way to do a game, because you guys know who these guys are. These are too easy. If I hold up, who's that? Even if I cover Takayasu's name on the side, I think you guys know who it is. But yeah, I will do the wrap up video in about a week, and we'll monitor. His Ozeki promotion ceremony should be Wednesday, or at least the announcement. Maybe the ceremony will be the next day. So I'll kind of keep my eye. Tachiai.org usually come out with their up and down predictions, and that's usually tomorrow. Although tomorrow is a national holiday in Japan, so it could be the 24th before they announce who's going up and down from regular wrestler to Sekitori, which is Makushita, up to Jurio. So, but yeah, thanks for coming by the channel. I know the free YouTube channel now is just me talking once a day. So I appreciate, there's only, 1,000, 2,000 of you guys that come by and watch the videos, but I appreciate that. And, you know, I'll still do it in November, although obviously I'll be gone for maybe a day or two at the very end if I go see live sumo in Fukuoka. But even then, I usually set up something in my hotel and try to film for you guys and things like that. So, yeah, and come over to Patreon if you want, if you don't mind, and join us over there. And I think it's been working well. I put up over 100 videos. And have a good rest of your September and enjoy your October. And I will see you back again, in a week for the wrap up video. But after that, I'll see you again in November as we get into the fall and close out the year. So David is asking, what is elder stock? We were talking about that before, but that's the ability that wrestlers get after they retire to inherit a stable or start a stable of their own or take over a stable if somebody else is retiring and giving up their stable. So to become a coach and have wrestlers of your own, and so they have to be eligible to do that by what rank they got to in their career and how long they were in the Sumo Association and things like that. All right, thank you to all of you guys saying thank you, and everybody that came by. Over 100 of you, 48 thumbs ups. Thank you so much. And this video will go on the channel, I assume. So thank you to everybody that's watching in the future. And yeah, I had I really wanted to go with my students today. It was really unfortunate, but they did well. They both won a prize. Yay. So I coached them well. And thank you to the other teachers that took them. But I was glad I got to stay home and watch day 15. It was a lot of fun. So I will see you again in a week for the wrap up. And congratulations to the prize winners. I think Quimby was, I don't know if he's been in here, but Quimby was the number one. He's all alone in first place. So congrats to him. And then we had about 9 people tied for second place. So if you did well in the contest, congrats. And Trucker says he's been watching the channel for 5 years. Thank you, man. That means a lot. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna sign off. It's 12:38 in the morning here, but it was good to see you guys all again, and I'll see you soon. Peace.